This is a stimulus update and daily news report. Got some major update to share with you. Two new bills have just passed in the House. $1,500 stimulus checks are going out next week. Kyrsten Sinema says that she wants to change the Inflation Reduction Act, which could put a wrench in the entire Democratic plan. I'll play a video clip regarding that, and I'll also give you the latest on student loan forgiveness and how it may be extended again, and give you some other more important updates as well. Hope you're having a wonderful weekend. If you appreciate the fact-based, fast-paced updates, hit the like button down below. So the House passes a bill to ban assault weapons. That was one of the bills that was just passed. The vote for that was 217 to 213 vote. Pretty close on that one. And then when it comes to another bill, House passes the CHIPS Act. Bill awaits signing by President Biden. So this CHIPS Act was passed in Senate last week. Now the House has passed it. Now all that has to happen is President Biden is going to sign it off. So basically that CHIPS Act giving $50 billion up to $79 billion. So that didn't really get full bipartisan support, although it did pass in a bipartisan way. Both Democrats and Republicans were against that bill. And then when it comes to a recession, Biden says that the U.S. is not in a recession despite 2 consecutive quarters of shrinking economy. So originally that was always the definition of a recession, but probably in a midterm election year and everything going bad already, this is not the definition for a recession this year. But if it was any other circumstances, I'm sure they would label it a recession. Also, Kyrsten Sinema, or what's being done about that? So Kyrsten Sinema indicates that she may want to change Schumer-Manchin deals. So out of all these Build Back Better negotiations over the past year, Kyrsten Sinema and Joe Manchin both together were against any of these big bills. So now finally Joe Manchin, after the Senate passed the CHIPS Act, Joe Manchin comes out and says that he is for this new Inflation Reduction Act, but we didn't really hear anything from Kyrsten Sinema, and now she's saying that she may want to change it. Even though Manchin is on board, Kyrsten Sinema may not be on board. Take a look at this video clip explaining more.
Democrats are still buzzing about the stunning Senate deal reached this week that would dedicate $369 billion to the fight against climate change and give a real shot in the arm to the Biden agenda ahead of pivotal midterm elections this fall. One potential roadblock, Democratic Senator Kyrsten Sinema, who has refused to say whether she will support the bill and was missing from a Democratic caucus meeting yesterday. Let's bring in Senator Brian Schatz from Hawaii, the Democrats' deputy whip. Have you seen Senator Sinema? Will she vote to support it?
Well, I'm certainly not her spokesperson. I talked to her several times yesterday, and I think it's reasonable. This is a big bill, and I know she was deeply involved in getting the CHIPS bill enacted into law and then trying to get marriage equality across the finish line. So I don't think she's had time to dig in, and I know she's someone who likes to understand the details of legislation, so perfectly reasonable to take a few days. I don't speak for her, but I can tell you that every time I've talked to her about climate, she wants to take major, bold action. Certainly the state of Arizona is experiencing the negative impacts of climate change. So I won't predict anything except to say we're in good conversations, and it is not at all unreasonable for a member to want a couple of days to read the bill.
So big picture, is your confidence level high that you have the votes?
Yeah, I'm confident but not overconfident because obviously we've been here before and we've been on the precipice of enacting this kind of legislation before. So nothing is over until the president signs this bill, and with a 50-50 Senate and an almost 50-50 House, it's going to be hard. But we do stand on the precipice of reducing the cost of prescription medicine for millions of Americans by making billion-dollar corporations pay at least 15%. A lot of them pay zero, and of taking the most important climate action that the American government has ever taken, reducing emissions by 40% by the year 2030. So this isn't pie in the sky stuff. This is going to transform the American economy in a positive way and save people money and create new jobs while attacking the climate crisis. I could not be more thrilled.
Tell me why you think this happened now. Do you think it's everything that's going on? You mentioned Arizona. There's almost not a state where we haven't seen absolutely devastating weather. Right now it's going on in Kentucky. There are children who are dying in floods. We saw the Strip last night in Vegas being flooded. What moved this?
I don't know. I do think that there's not a single reasonable person out there who doesn't understand the urgency of climate change and understand that weather is getting really severe, and storms and floods and wildfires are getting not just more severe, but way, way more frequent. And so when you experience it in real time, it becomes less of a political question and more of a question of physics, but also a question of morality. So I think the impetus is there to take action. And I think the other thing that needs to be said is that Chuck Schumer never left the table, and Joe Manchin actually, despite what it looked like, never left the table, and they just kind of stayed in there through a very, very difficult period of negotiating. And we have a bill that will reduce inflation, reduce the cost of prescription medicine, and be a big, bold climate bill.
This isn't the only thing on your plate. Republicans, as you well know, tanked that widely supported bipartisan bill that expanded medical coverage for veterans exposed to toxic burn pits. Veterans are furious. What do you think is going on here? And will this bill eventually make it through? Chuck Schumer says he'll bring it back up on Monday.
Well, we'll see what happens in the vote on Monday, but they are clearly, taking their marbles and going home. They're so mad that we're going to actually execute on our agenda, that we're going to do what we promised to do, that they're going to tank other bills that they claim to support. It started with the CHIPS bill. They said they were going to tank something that they said was essential for national security and for the American economy if we went ahead and reduced the cost of prescription medicine. That gambit didn't work. Now they're trying to tank the PACT Act, which takes care of veterans who have been exposed to burn pits, for goodness sakes. And now there's at least some chatter that they're going to kill gay marriage if we try to enact this legislation to reduce the cost of prescription medicine. We're not going to be deterred. That's the first thing that everybody needs to know. But the second thing is, just as not just a moral matter, but as a political matter, it strikes me as stupid to try to punish the American people because Democrats are doing popular things.
So what are your thoughts on that? Is Kyrsten Sinema going to tank the whole thing, even though the Democrats work so hard on getting Joe Manchin on board? Is it going to happen? Should there be more added to that? Let me know your thoughts on that. Another state is sending $1,500 stimulus checks next week. So this state is Colorado. Colorado residents will receive new stimulus checks as soon as next week. Colorado residents are set to receive a one-time tax rebate check worth up to $750 for individuals, $1,500 for joint filers as soon as next week. So those who file their taxes should get a check next week up until September 30th of this year. So yeah, a lot of checks going on there. When it comes to student loan forgiveness, so 100 lawmakers urge Biden to extend federal student loan payment pause. So this federal student loan has been going on for a long time, the pause. I think maybe almost 2 years at this point. I think since 2020, maybe, 1.5 years. But basically, the payments are scheduled to resume on September 1st. So just about 1 month left. Now, the reason why I think it is probably going to be postponed a little more is because it is a midterm election year. So I couldn't imagine the Democrats saying that everyone has to start paying their student loans a month before the elections happen, or 2 months before the elections happen. So most likely this is going to resume. And then also, the U.S. government underestimated the cost of student loan program by billions. So basically, this entire time that the student loan forgiveness or student loans have been delayed, at least the payment has been delayed, the Education Department estimated that payments from federal direct loans would generate $114 billion for the government. So that's actually from 1997 to 2021. And then a percentage of the shortfall, $102 billion, stems from unprecedented student loan payment pause that began under the CARES Act in 2020. So causing billions of dollars. It's actually, I think, the biggest asset for the United States is the student loan program, and the government getting paid all the interest on the student loan payment. So it's actually a big moneymaker. When it comes to is it going to be extended or not, Biden may extend student loan pause into next year, and is considering other relief, including loan forgiveness. So when it comes to student loan student loan pause, that's probably going to happen because of the elections. Student loan forgiveness, probably going to happen closer to elections as well, probably probably right up to end of October, early November, or probably late October. That's my prediction of when student loan forgiveness will happen, because he did say it could happen. The education department said that it could happen. So they're just Democrats are just waiting to get the most bang for their buck, get the most votes out of it in terms of political gain out of that. At least that's my prediction. But yeah, that's all the news that I have for you today to hopefully brighten your day a bit. Here's my daughter Bella's tip of the day.
Oh, hi guys. Hi guys, this is Bella. This is the tip of the day. I want to tell you the one thing you should do. Remember when you were a kid, you always used your imagination in your mind. That's why it's called imagination. Imagining what you're thinking about. And remember that when you were a kid, you use your imagination for like anything, like movies. You watch the movies, you imaginate yourself with it. You may sometimes when you're watching cool movies, use your imagination to do the same thing if you want. And also, can I tell you something? I watched a movie and now I'm all about it. And now I'm a Ghostbuster. Like this one, you shoot out light, and it makes the ghost disappear. And this one, you tap it like this, and it makes you disappear, make the ghost disappear. So that's all I wanted to tell you. Bye.
Thank you so much for watching. Appreciate all of your support. Hopefully you have a great rest of your weekend. My wife is working another 24-hour shift today, so it's just me and the girls hanging out. Maybe have some beach time, chill out. Not sure yet, but hopefully you have a great rest of your weekend. If you want to check out any of my other videos on my other channels, you could click right up here, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care, be safe. Thank you for watching.